My salient point in writing about femitheist at this point was just an eye roll. Um, the reason for my eye rolling about the Krista shit, you know, how should I say this? I look back on the period here on YouTube, and it was such cringe to me, and it wasn't cringe to me because what Krista was saying was like unobjectionable or like the things that she was offering or what she was saying was an agenda that like I supported or felt like was a sane policy. I think I just remember looking back on it and feeling like I pretended, in rhetoric to support it when in reality I didn't really, not truly. It was just kind of because of the fact that like I was just humoring her, back then. And the thing with me was just that I felt like we were both in on a joke and that it wasn't really ever serious. It was just it was just a joke about castrating men. Like it wasn't ever really like serious misandry at all, and I felt that it was all just a fucking joke. But what killed me in all of it was just that the rest of this platform in particular was going ape shit, going after Krista. I like they're saying that now I've got a poetry like on all poetry somebody's coming at me and trying to tell me that information about this guy, this Justin Randall Gibson of Paragould, Arkansas, and I can't, and Krista Milburn, which I can't actually find independent corroboration of the rumors that are being spread here about the whole thing. But my memory of the period isn't absolutely perfect, but I remember that had pissed me off was that everything that platform was obviously deranged and over the top, and she had you know like in my poem I wrote that she had maybe of all like five supporters, and like they're saying she had tens of thousands, and I'm still sitting here like rolling my eyes. Like my critique was just how YouTube reacted to her, like Armageddon had started and she needed to be scorched or killed, and like do you know how much better things would be if like everybody had just responded to the whole thing by basically ignoring her? You know, no, not said a damn thing about the whole thing and blew the whole thing up. It was like this Streisand effect. She would never have gotten that much attention all on her own. But everybody had to platform her in such a way to try to take her down at the same time. I mean, what I'm suggesting is that in a certain context, when somebody's views are so reprehensible, even making a video about them only has the effect of essentially platforming those people, and that was kind of my point. It was like so cringe because like if we just left it alone, allowed it to scream in the wilderness about its politics and how it wanted to castrate half the male population, if we'd left her there, if we'd left the feminist channel, and when I say it I mean the channel there, off in the wilderness screaming about its agenda, it never would have gotten anywhere near as famous as the channel actually ended up being here on the channel. But YouTube basically considered stopping her like a next level crisis emergency, and how pathetic I felt that actually turned out to be, because it was like my argument is ultimately this: we live in a democracy. Our society isn't fully democratic, though. It's a republic, obviously. But in that republic has many features of democracy. Our representatives are elected, members of the public. We delegate authority to representatives by voting for them, or we either assume the authority ourselves by running for office, and trying to get people to vote for us. And while America is a republic is nothing more than a country with a set of laws, and our laws are the Bill of Rights. Obviously, they pertain to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And when I look at all this, I feel like, first of all, like my own politics, I feel like the Bill of Rights didn't really ultimately go far enough. We don't have enough. enumerated civil liberties in, the damn Constitution of itself. I feel like there should be more of them. I really look back to FDR's second Bill of Rights in a big way, and I wish that it had managed to be implemented. I but I look at Krista and I look at what the reaction here on YouTube was, and I look back to the period, and my retrospective on all of it, is simply laughter, sniggering laughter at the rest of the platform, and the reason was just, and this person is coming back like at my, five supporters by saying, she had tens of thousands of supporters, and I'm still rolling my eyes. It's a country of 400 million people almost at this point. It's not quite there, but America is well on its way to 400 million as a population at this point. I mean, a good 50 million more people, and you're probably already there, and it's probably not even 50 million more that we need to reach a country of 400 million, and tens of thousands, of supporters are still not really enough to actually do or impact anything. There are a bunch of people that are on the same page, but are still screaming in the wilderness. You know what I mean? In obscurity. I hate to break it to you, but there was no reason to go after her. Like it would have been easy to just ignore it. And I mean, I think that my frustration was just that the way that this platform had grifted off the whole thing. I mean, you do realize that what was going on there was some serious, like, grifting content that was being created. So when you find, like, the way that you grift is you find some feminist that basically, has articulated a completely deranged point of view on, like, Tumblr. You seek them out, and then you offer a rebuttal or a response video. At the end of the day, like, it's shredding their argument or giving it some pushback for being a misandristic piece of crap, and then you go and you upload it, to this particular platform, but it's a low hanging fruit. It's too, like, convenient and easy, and people shouldn't be able to make money off of, such a low effort operation. And it was just a generalized feeling of disgust at YouTube for having this very lazy mentality about how they were going to stitch things together in the videos that they had actually put out there. I didn't find a lot of the content that was making fun of her to be all that fun at the end of the day to watch. It just felt like what, we had gone through was just a raking over the coals of Krista and everything for money and profit, and it took in a ton of views, but that was the only reason why people were making it, with the money. They weren't, no, nobody. See, my whole thing with Krista was, like, nobody was responding to her in order to, at the end of the day, was responding to her videos in order to actually, you know, debunk her views, uh, take down the the arguments that she was making. I mean, nobody was authentically concerned. It's all phony shit that was being pushed, and I mean, that's what I mean. I mean, it's like Krista had like 10,000 supporters, so of course nobody, like, tens of thousands of supporters. But we live in a country of 400 million where you need at least over half the population to vote this in. And I mean, last I checked, men are not quite half the population. Women have a little bit of the upper hand, but, like, there are a ton of MRAs and women that don't hate us as much as some of these women that do hate men. And I'm not saying that they don't exist. I'm just, like, they're hardly a fucking majority of women. Like, I think that most women, like, they hate certain men, but they don't hate all men. I think that that's really the reality there. And it just, you know it infuriated me looking at the whole thing, because it was just, this is such, like, why are we treating this chick like she's like this is nuclear Armageddon level threat. And then, of course, the ticking of the answer in my head becomes eventually what the most obvious answer is, which is money.